What a year it has been in MMA.
Wow.
Most impressively in UFC, $4+ billion sale, and a lot of good fights. Obviously, Ronda Rousey tonight against Amanda Nunes. Win or lose, is it fair to say this will be the fight of 2016?
Wow, you know me. It's hard to say that any Ronda Rousey fight is not the best fight of that calendar year. But you know what? I think it's close, but it might not be the top. I think the most hyped fight that we saw in 2016 was not Conor Eddie Alvarez in Madison Square Garden. It wasn't Conor Nate Diaz, UFC 196 in Las Vegas, which I was at. It was the rematch, because this is what happened the first time. I was on hand for this one, and that shocked the world.
The tap.
The tap out heard around the world in March. And then when they did it again, that hype leading up to the rematch, which went all 5 rounds, which I didn't know Conor McGregor could do against a guy like Nate Diaz. A super close fight, which, by the way, I scored differently than the judges that night, but that's how razor thin the decision was. All the hype, it lived up to it. The fight of the year to me was Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor 2. 1 shocked the world. Nobody saw Nate Diaz making Conor McGregor tap out in 2 rounds. Ronda hasn't fought this calendar year. Johnny Bones Jones, saw you one time against Ovin St. Preux, and all of your issues that we've had. We've had other great fights, but the hype, and to match the hype that Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor 2 did, pretty darn impressive. Eddie Alvarez and Conor was great, but Conor was way above Eddie Alvarez on that night in New York City. Nate, Conor, their rivalry, and we're going to see a third one, hopefully in 2017. That's as good as it gets in 2016.
2016 also we remember for the fights that didn't happen.
A lot of
Jones-Cormier, Cormier-Rumble-Johnson. The fact that after Melbourne, 6 months plus break, this is the only time we see Rousey in 2016.
It could be.
McGregor carried it.
We could ask this question in 24 hours,
right,
and it could be so spectacular.
What would have to happen?
I think it would have to be an epic 5-round fight, kind of like we saw with Conor and Nate. And I don't see that happening with Amanda Nunes and Ronda Rousey. I think whoever wins, it'll be sooner rather than later.
They're sprinters.
I think that's what surprised everybody about Conor and Nate Part 2, is that it did go the distance. Conor looked like he was gassed and then found a reserve that nobody knew he had because he hadn't gone there before. We all knew Nate did, but he found a different gear and a different level that he had not shown before, and I think that's why that turned out to be Fight of the Year.
Yeah, well, Rousey carried UFC in 15. McGregor did it in 16.
No doubt.
And like Rousey, he will take a break leading into 2017. But it's all about Ronda Rousey here on Friday night. Be sure to check all of Dave's analysis before, during, and after on Twitter and our 120 Sports app.
Damn Skippy.